Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Doug and I'm back with another fountain pen review. And thank you in advance for liking and subscribing to my channel. Your support allows me to continue to do these reviews, so thanks. And don't forget you can join as a channel member too. Membership guarantees a response to your comments from yours truly. If you are a subscriber, I will see your comments, but might only give you a thumbs up. If you aren't a subscriber at all, or your subscription isn't public, I probably won't see your comment at all. Today is an extra video, as this pen was loaned to me by local pen friend Janice Butterworth. I wasn't interested in getting one of these Moonman Q1 fountain pens because I thought they were a gimmick. They certainly don't look like a serious fountain pen, but there might be something that fountain pen lovers might like as a novelty. I was wondering how to review this pen, but recently I was interviewing Carrie Carvey at Reed Stationers, and I picked up this bottle of Pelikan Edelstein Golden Barrel Ink of the Year. When I saw how the golden ink swirled around in the bottle, I immediately thought of this little Moonman Q1, which I've dubbed a fountain pen sex toy.
One Swedish-made penis enlarger pump.
That's not mine.
I mean, seriously, how can you not?
Damn, I had something for this.
Did ya?
But I really wanted to see the ink swirl inside this little clear acrylic pen. So join me now to see whether I can even hold this tiny little pen right now. So when the Moonman Q1 first came out, my pen friend Janice sent me a message saying, "Have you seen this new Moonman, and are you going to get one?" And I kind of chuckled and said, "No, I don't think I'm interested in that." But I think she was interested enough for me to do a review of that pen that she got one for herself. And here it is. She's loaned it to me for review, so thank you very much, Janice. This is the Moonman Q1. This is the box for it. Really nice, deep blue, almost purple flat box with the Moonman logo. And of course our familiar logo, "Feel the temperature of writing," which I think loses something in translation. What it's supposed to mean, I don't know. But the box opens and we see there's an instruction booklet which has multiple types of filling systems. The one we're interested in for this pen is in fact the eyedropper here, and of course it comes with an eyedropper itself, which is a good idea. And here is our pen snuggled in the box in its condom, and the condom is appropriate for this little stubby. But when this little Q1 came out, there was such a frenzy about it. Everybody was really excited about this little pen. I kind of thought, well, it's a novelty, right? And it wasn't something that you're really seriously going to write with. And now that I have it in my hands, I'm thinking it reminds me of a number of things. Yes, and including some R-rated things it reminds me of.
Wicked, eh? Woo! Wicked! Say no more!
But it also reminds me of, I don't know whether you're old enough to remember when Silly Putty came in those little eggs.
Are you sure Silly Putty can do all those things?
Yes, Silly Putty is fun.
Silly Putty comes in a shell shaped like an egg.
And it was a little Weeble as well. That's another thing it reminds me of.
The Weebles waddle, but they don't fall down. Romperoo makes Weeble toys.
It reminds me of those Weebles. And of course this one won't stand on its own. But it also reminds me of those little eggs that pantyhose used to come. And not that I ever bought pantyhose, but I thought, you know, maybe they could give away some free things by stuffing this little chamber here with some pantyhose or condoms or Silly Putty or stick tack or something like that, because it is really kind of a cute little thing. Anyway, it's very tiny. So let's see it next to a real pen. Here it is next to a Moonman M800, being dwarfed by that medium-sized pen. And here I have my Pilot E95S, which is always on my desk, and it's I think, the smallest pen I own. Again, it's longer than our chubby little friend here in the Moonman Q1. But then when Janice loaned me this cute little pen, I had just purchased this bottle of Pelikan Golden Barrel. It's the ink of the year, and it has such a lovely look when you shake it up in the bottle like that. You see it swirling around like that. And I thought, well, it kind of gets lost in the pen itself. Maybe if there was a pen that had a large ink capacity, that would look kind of cool in there. So I immediately thought that I'll give this a try with the Golden Barrel, and we'll film eyedroppering the pen before I write with it. But first off, I want to take a look at the pen, show you some size comparisons and so forth. So we will get on with that momentarily. And what I'd like to do today is go over the parts and features of this pen, show some size comparisons, some measurements, and then provide a writing sample. After the writing sample, please stay tuned as I will talk about what I like and what I don't like so much about this fountain pen. Now, as I mentioned in the unboxing, when I first saw this pen, I really thought it was a joke. I thought it was a kitschy kind of a thing, a little novelty. But the way in which Moonman has engineered and manufactured this pen is really no joke. It's like they took the Moonman M2 and shot it with some gamma radiation and really made it mad.
Then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry. And now whenever Stewie Griffin grows angry or outraged, a startling metamorphosis occurs.
Ow, I hurt myself changing this tire!
It is the same clear acrylic and eyedropper style fountain pen as this M2, with just a new odd shape and a number 6 size steel nib, where the M2 had a number 5 size. And before we get to whether you can actually hold this pen or write with it, let's take a look at it more closely. Overall, the pen is very short at just over 112 millimeters and very fat at around 23 millimeters at its widest point. From the top, we see a clear domed solid acrylic finial and then a gold metal band which holds the clip in place. And that little stubby clip is nice. It looks very nice, and it's sort of proportional to the pen, and it's actually very usable, very springy. The cap tapers up in a gentle curve to a gold metal band that has the words Moonman laser etched into it. There's no model number on that band. There's a small step down to the barrel, which curves down to the rounded end finial, which is again a nicely solid piece of clear acrylic. So one thing that Moonman does very, very well is these clear acrylics. Through the clear acrylic, you can see the nib and the section and the nicely channeled ink chamber. I like that little point. They have that same thing on the M2, that lovely little solid point down at the end of the ink chamber. The cap unscrews with 2 full turns to reveal a sharply tapered and girthy section made of the same clear acrylic, which ends with a slight flare towards a number 6 size steel Moonman nib. That flare on the end of the section actually holds the threads for the cap. And there is the black plastic feed, which is part of a nib and feed assembly, which easily unscrews from the section for easy replacement maintenance or cleaning. So lots of screw threads. And then there's a silicone O-ring at the end of that nib assembly to aid with sealing the nib. And let's take a closer look at this nib. It is a typical number 6 size Moonman nib. The nib has some nice scroll work on it. Moonman, the Moonman logo, China, and F for fine. The inside of the cap shows a step milled into it right there that meets up with the section of the pen to seal that nib. And the section unscrews to access the ink chamber. And at the bottom of the section, there is another larger silicone O-ring to help seal that ink chamber when you close it up. It might not be a bad idea to silicone grease those threads too, for those of you that are worried about ink spillage. The cap posts. Thank the fountain pen gods for that, because if it didn't post, this pen would be squirting out of your hand like a watermelon seed.
What pig?
Get back here, you slippery little fricker!
Let the pig eat the shoe, Brittany. We can buy you another pair.
I know, but it's the principle of the thing.
And because unposted, the pen is, well, I think I would have difficulty writing with it. Although you could probably write with it in a pinch. But if you have larger hands than I do, it would be rather uncomfortable. As I said, this pen is on loan from my pen friend Janice, but they are abundantly available on Etsy and eBay, and I'm sure elsewhere. So far, they're available in 5 colors. This transparent version is cheaper by about $8. The other colors are green, brown, black, and purple. The color versions have a cracked ice style acrylic cap, which is fairly opaque, and a translucent body, so you can still see your ink supply through those colored bodies. The price on these pens seems to have skyrocketed in the last few months owing to their popularity. Who knew? Let's see about inking this puppy up. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is open up the pen, and then we want to shake up our golden barrel. Shake up the barrel. We'll have a barrel of ink. So get that ink moving around in there. It does look lovely, doesn't it? Look at that. That way, when I open it up, I'll get some of that golden glitter into my syringe. I gotta syringe up a bunch of ink, and there I have, I think, more than enough. I've measured with water this ink chamber, and it takes about 3 milliliters of ink, which is a lot. And we're going to fill this up. Only filled it to the bottom. Actually, there's a step right there where it seals, and I don't want to fill it any further than that because you have to allow for displacement. Let's see how much ink gets displaced up through my section here without spilling it. Actually went pretty well, and that's looking very nice. Now I might want to stand that on its head for a little while to get some ink flowing, and while we're waiting for that ink to flow, let's look at some size comparisons. And here we are with the Moonman Q1 with a Moonman M2, a Pilot E95S, a Moonman C1, and a Moonman C3. Now let's look at them posted. And here they are posted. You can see that the C1 and the C3 do not post. The C1 has the largest ink capacity of all of them, and the C3 has the number 5 size nib, like the M2 does. Now let's look at some measurements, and I'll be back with a writing sample. And we're back with the writing portion of the review. This is Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper, and this is the Moonman Mahjong Mayoko Q1. And it has a number 6 size. Fine steel nib. Whichever one of those titles you want to give it. And let's check the wetness. It's decently wet for a fine nib. Now this nib is smooth, but it has a lot of drag. I'm not going to call it even feedback. It's not scratchiness. I'm just going to call it drag, because it tends to be sluggish across the page. It feels like a very typical Moonman nib. I've never been overly fond of them, and with most of the Moonman pens I've continued to use, I've replaced that nib with something else. And the ink today is Pelikan Golden Barrel, and this is the ink of the year. Here are some close matches to this ink from inkswatch.com. And as to line variation, well, you can get a little bit out of it, but Chinese steel nibs are notoriously stiff. Now this line is 0.3 millimeters in thickness, which makes it a Western extra fine and a Japanese extra fine to fine. This is actually a lot finer than many of the other Moonman fine nibs I've had. And for our quote, and for some reverse writing. Yeah, it runs dry almost immediately. It's actually fairly smooth, but it gets no ink. And some quick writing. Keeps up fairly well for a fine nib, very nicely. So what do I like and what do I not like so much about this fountain pen? Well, this isn't a pen you're going to use to sit down and write that long letter to your Aunt Agnes. You never write to her anyway. To be frank...
Can I say something to you, Frank? Hi, Frank.
I really don't get why this pen is so popular. Is it because it's a novelty that you can display on your desk to attract friends and influence people? Is it because of its suggestive shape that will have people snickering and asking where you plug it in?
You think that's funny?
Well, not compared to that.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not a bumblebee, is it?
No. Ray, what do I do?
Well, if you don't shut it off...
She'll know somebody was in here.
I really don't get many of the fountain pen things that seem to be popular, though. So I might not be the best person to judge the value of an egg-shaped writing tool. I mean, a lot of people really love the Mont Blanc Bohème, but I've never understood why you need to retract a nib that has a cap on it. I don't know, can someone please explain it to me?
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
And what about these ornate doorstops that people collect? It has to be for display or for bragging rights or something. Perhaps people will want to buy up a whole bunch of these egg pens and fill them with different colored inks, hide them around their yard at Easter for their fountain pen enabled kiddies to find.
Yay! 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 Yay!
I just don't get it. It isn't comfortable in the hand, either posted or unposted. And if you put it in your shirt pocket, people are going to think you're hiding a banana.
There's something on the side of your mouth, Al. No, the other side.
God forbid you put it in your pants. You'd get hauled away.
Is that a 10-gallon hat, or are you just enjoying the show?
The pen itself confuses me as to why Montjohn puts all this gold-colored trim on the pen and then puts a chrome-colored nib on it. What's up with that?
I have no idea what's happening.
I won't cut you off, but I got to say, yeah. What's up with that? What's up with that?
But seriously, this pen, why? I don't get it. Enlighten me, please. Someone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller?
Bueller? Bueller? Bueller? Bueller?
Okay, so what do I like about it? Well, it is very well made, of some really nice clear acrylic. Moon Blanc is good at that. The number 6 size nib is okay and easily swappable with other Moonman nibs, and it comes in some nice colors. And I really like the large ink chamber, especially in this demonstrator. You can see this marvelous golden barrel ink dancing about. You notice I didn't say sloshing.
Open up that door! You notice I didn't say Richard?
There's a much better pen to display this golden swirling pelican dance, however. I've just ordered it from Cult Pens. It's the Le Bon Skeleton in rose gold. I can't wait to get that pen, fill it with this liquid gold for the review. How about golden skeletons for Halloween? Oh, that'd be cool. And there you have it. Thanks go out to Janice Butterworth for taking one for the Inkquiring Minds team to buy this toy pen. You can come and pick it up now. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell to get instant notifications whenever a new video is posted. And don't forget that you can join as a member of my channel for only 99 cents a month. And I guarantee I will answer your comments in the comment section, and you'll get cool emojis and badges too. And that just leaves it for me to say, thank you for watching. And that's all she wrote.
I made this.